Hello! In this video we're talking about the three main skate skiing techniques, and those techniques are the V1, the V2, and the V2 alternate. And in more detail, it's the V1 left and V1 right, the V2, and the V2 alternate left and right. So what does that look like and what does that mean? We're going to get into it right now. So here's a V1 left, and then a V2. Building speed into a V2 alternate. And this is a V2 alternate left. I'm pulling off of the left leg. So we can break this down in a lot more detail. So first we'll talk about a little bit of an overview of why and when you want to use some of these techniques. You can think of it as your V1 like your first gear, your V2 like your second gear, and your V2 alternate like your third gear. So the V1 gives you a lot of torque and power, good for those moderate to steep climbs, getting you up and over quickly. And then you'll notice as it gets a little more gradual, starts to get more flat, you'll pick up speed more quickly. And then you're not able to maximize or be quite as efficient with your glide with that technique. So then you want to switch up into your next gear, which is the V2. And with your V2, you'll notice your skis get to be a little bit more directional, as in they're going down the track or down the trail a little bit better. So that way you're able to maximize your glide off of each leg and off of each ski a little bit more. Then as you gain and build speed from there on your flat to gradual downhill, then you'll be able to switch into your V2 alternate, and it's nice and efficient. You're able to maintain your speed and your glide. And that is what the V2 alternate is for. But your main two techniques are the V1 and the V2. Then once you have enough speed, you'll get into your V2 alternate. And I'll show that in a little bit more detail right now. So let's take a look at the differences of the techniques and how they look in action here. Okay, so here we have just a V1 right. And as you can see, I'm planting my poles in time with my right foot skating on the snow. So as my right foot steps down, I'm pulling at the same time as my right foot stepping down, and that's why it's the V1 right. So here's a V1 left, going a little slower so we can break this down here. So the poles are planting right by the toe on the left leg, and that's the timing. It's a nice even left, right, left, right, left, right. So to show more of the main purpose of the V1 technique, here we go, climbing up a hill. This hill is angled from the left down to the right. This shows why you select your V1 left or your V1 right. So you'll notice the high side of this hill is to my left, angled slope down to the right. So I selected my V1 left to climb this hill. Get into a little bit more of that technique breakdown coming up, but now I'm just gonna show from the front that I'm climbing this hill, which is much more even. As in, it doesn't have an angle from left to right or right to left. It's just an even hill. So I get to choose whichever side I want to ski up. Do I want to do V1 right or V1 left? Am I working on a technique, or am I just trying to be efficient up the hill? So that's where I would select either V1 left or V1 right. In that case, I just did a V1 right. Take a little closer look at the timing of the poling and the skating here and the rhythm. It's just that nice even rhythm that I started to mention before. Poles are going to be roughly in time with the foot landing. There's going to be a little nuance there with obstacles in the trail, terrain features, but roughly planting right in time with that left foot planting, and then skating off that right foot. Just pull, skate, pull, skate. And it's just a nice even rhythm back and forth. And here's an example of now V1 left on this even hill. So again, look from the front of this timing. Pull, skate, pull, skate, pull, skate. Smooth and efficient up the hill. And you can use this is a moderate steepness hill and then a much steeper, and you'll just need a little more knee bend to go up those steeper hills. But yeah, that's the gist of the V1 and what that timing looks like. And so let's just go ahead and move on to the V2. So here's the V2 and what this looks like. And so you'll see that I'm looking a little more comfortable here on the flat, able to glide a little better and be a little bit more efficient with the glide. And so the timing of this is different in that I'm halfway through my skate leg when I'm pulling. You can think of it two ways. We'll start with talking about the skate leg. So we'll take a look in slow motion, and you can see here I'm skating, pulling, skating, pulling, skating, pulling. So halfway through that skate, on that skate leg is when I'm pulling. Again, planting right by the toe, getting as much power out of the arms as is necessary for this easy ski on the flat. And that's the rhythm and the timing, and it just allows for that even weight transfer and a little bit more efficient glide here. So you can see that difference there as opposed to planting when the foot is coming down. We're planting halfway through that skate leg, or you could think of it halfway through that foot that is in the air while it's halfway through its motion of travel. I prefer to think of pulling on the skate leg, just helps me keep everything dynamic and get the power out of that leg. Keeps my hips on top while I'm skating. And on this channel, we'll do much more in-depth breakdowns of each technique here. We're just showing the differences between these techniques. And that's what the V2 technique looks like. And you'll notice we pull on both sides. So when the left leg is skating, we're pulling on the left leg. Then we get over to the right leg skate, halfway through that right leg skate, then we pull there. And so that's both sides. So that is called the V2. So now let's get into the V2 alternate. Okay, so you can see with the V2 alternate, timing, if you can get your V2 down, the V2 alternate's gonna feel much more natural and much easier to learn once you learn the V2. And so you'll notice I'm letting my arms swing all the way through. And so that is helping with the timing where I'm not pulling off that right leg. So what does that mean? I'm pulling on the left leg, which means this, like I hinted a little earlier, is the V2 alternate left. So I'm just skating off that right leg and pulling on that left leg halfway into that left leg skate. So pulling, skating, and then pulling. Skating, and then pulling. So again, halfway into that left leg skate and then just gliding on that right leg. And that arm swing and that momentum, when you're at the correct speed, can help you maintain your speed and be very efficient. Here, I'm going a little slow for this technique. So you do notice my hands pausing a little by the hip. When you're at the proper speed for this technique, the arm swing will be much more fluid and unbroken. So that's what the V2 alternate looks like. And so again, just to reiterate a little bit on why we use these different techniques, as you see, as I'm doing that V1, I kind of get going a little fast, and then it's difficult to be as efficient as I'd like to be. So then I gear up into my V2. Once I gain enough speed on my V2, then I can switch into my V2 alternate and go from there. So I'll give a couple more quick examples of that. And so here's the V1. So even going, say, closer to race speed, that V1 just runs out of speed there. And so I need to switch into the V2. And that V2 really would be the perfect technique for this straightaway until I was really flying. Then I can switch into my V2 alternate. If you don't have enough speed on your V2 alternate, you'll notice you'll start to slow down a little and you'll have to switch back into your V2, build the speed back up, and then get back into your V2 alternate. So we can talk more advanced details of when and where to use the V2 alternate. I really like it a lot. It's very efficient. I'll save all those details for another video. Just wanted to cover the three main techniques. There's many more techniques involved in skate skiing, and I'll be covering those on this channel as well. Navigate corners and go downhill. We'll be covering all that type of stuff. So yeah, all sorts of techniques, how to train. Anything you want to know, leave it down in the comments. I'd really appreciate it. My goal with this channel is to just make another great resource for people to help learn skate skiing, improve faster. And that's what I'm here to do too. I'm here to get good at this. I love skate skiing, and my goal is to be working back towards a high level of skate skiing. Let's get better at this together. So I hope you'll join me in that. And if you want to see more videos like this, Subscribe. I'm going to be putting out some good stuff. Hopefully it can help out. Really appreciate you watching. Thanks so much. I'll see you in the next one. All right. Thanks. Bye.